Okay, Laura, just a minute here. Let's try this. Okay, here we are at Hartwick Pines, and I hope you guys like this video. If you do like it, please
hit the subscribe button and the like button.
And like, because this will help us and give me incentive to take more, and we'll get more videos just like this. So thank you very much. And lumber that they cut in this old-fashioned sawmill, and I was hoping they would be doing that today, but if you can see that, that's a steam engine. We'll go over to the other side here and see if we can get a better look at it. Of course, the way things are nowadays, you got to keep everything locked up so people can't come in and destroy it, because they would. All right, let's see. So that steam engine runs the sawmill. It's really neat to watch it run. Really was hoping that would be going on today, but at least they got the lights on there so you can see. There's the actual sawmill, but you can't see very much from here.
Wow, that's a big log.
You can just see the blade right straight over there, the piece of plastic hanging from the ceiling. Underneath that is the blade. Then you can see over on the other side, outside of the building, where the sawdust comes up. I'll go over there and get a picture. Yes, that is a big log. Your little bandsaw mills probably wouldn't take that. Yeah, I was really hoping to catch them doing this today, because when they have events going on, a lot of times they're doing this stuff too. They got plastic in the way here, it makes it kind of hard to see. Here's the carriage that they put the log on. Moves it back and forth. You can see the track there.
Look at this big log timber they got cut. You see that? What is that, about an 8 by 10?
I don't know. Here's the sawdust, the chain that brings it up out. And there's a pit right here by the blade. And there you can see the blade.
Ooh.
Takes a bunch of people to run this thing. So if you like this and you'd like to volunteer, this is Hartwick Pines, which is on 93, just east of I-75 near Grayling, Michigan. This is the Hartwick Pines Logging Museum. It says open daily, early May, Memorial Day to Labor Day, late October, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. And during the summer, it's 9 a.m. to 5 p.m.
And this is Labor Day weekend.
Yep. It says toys for the 1890s, but I don't see any. 12:30 to 4:30.
Here's how they heated this building.
Yeah, nice cast iron stove. This would be the camp store. Let's see, what is that? Fresh roll, that must be coffee or something. Wow,
Yep,
cool.
this roasted bird's eye blend.
There's a $500 reward for Katrin Remedy. Interesting.
So there's the bookkeeping right there, their ledger. Snowshoes, wool blankets.
Cool.
Oh, look at the hat.
I'm sure this represents the table that they would eat at. My dad was actually a cook in the CCCs, which this is probably what their camp looked like. He probably worked in a cook shack just like this.
Is that a horn?
Probably, yeah, maybe for calling the people in or something.
Bugling?
For calling the people in.
Yep.
Is that, they call it a Dutch oven?
That's, yep. That's for cooking stuff over a campfire. You'd hang it up by a tripod over the coals.
They got hams, probably hanging there.
Hams.
So this, I guess, would represent the pantry. Apples, and there's some cabbages. Clothespins. Probably get splinters from eating those. Cool.
Rolling pin. I was just noticing how short these beds are.
Yeah, if this was a CCC camp, it would have been kind of tough on my dad because he's 6'3". He was.
Yeah, these beds probably aren't even 5'8".
Look at there's the stove. That's how they stayed warm. Pile of wood set there in front of it. So if you come in here, you'll see a lot of displays. There's a lot of what do you call these little plaques? This one is the cabin fever. And it says, there was no logging on Sunday, so Saturday night was the time to relax and play. Unless the camp was close to a town or tavern, the men had to create their own entertainment. Some sang, told tall tales, or recited verse, sometimes an orchestra or fiddle, harmonica, concertina, or dulcimer would play. As music filled the bunkhouse, the men danced, jacks acting the part of female partners, tied bandanas around one arm. At other times, the evenings passed more quietly, with a card game, reading, letter writing, and whittling. Yep. No, it's not Irish. It's got 4 legs. My dad always said the Irish stools had 3. So if you ever been into an Irishman shanty where water is scarce and whiskey, there's plenty of 3-legged stool and a table to match and a hole in the floor for the chickens to scratch. Ooh, that looks like my dad right there. Not him, but it looks like him. Oh, it looks like they got a bad roof. They had to. Let's walk through this building and we'll come back and talk to him.
No, it looks like there's shrink wrap.
I don't know what you just said.
It looks like shrink wrap up there.
Oh. Looks like blue tarps to me. The landlooker. How did they find the timber? Apparently the landlooker went and found it.
Well, it says finding stands of timber to harvest was the job of the landlooker or timber cruiser. Sometimes working alone, sometimes in pairs, and sometimes with native guides. These men tramped through the forest, locating prime stands of trees and estimating how many board feet of lumber they could produce. Often the landlooker would climb a tall tree to gain a view of the surrounding forest.
Shows you how to cut a tree. Hey, that works good for me. Works with a chainsaw still. Now, I know I've cut a lot of them. Not that I'm good at it.
Don't let them kid you. You can land a tree right in a certain spot.
So there's a booming ground near Marquette, it says. It's interesting. The rivers around here, we know where we kayak on the end of Dam 4 Road, there was a dam there, and that's what it was for. They dammed that water up, filled it full of logs, and in the spring, it filled full of water, they would dump the dam, how, I don't know, with dynamite or whatever, and they'll just flush the logs down the river.
Here's just a few of the rivers in Michigan. We got all this water from when the glaciers went through.
So you'd think it'd have been run off by now. Well, here's an interesting little display someone's built. Winter logging using nature. So what they did is some of the equipment I was taking pictures of earlier, they made ice roads, and then they skidded the logs on them. And actually those big wheels we were looking at, they used those for that, and those big wheels probably were used when it was dry. I'm not an expert, that's for sure. And they would take them to the river. They would run them down the river, and then they'd get to a yard. They would either go through the sawmill there, or maybe they would come by train to the log pond, and then they would go through the sawmill and then get shipped out as lumber, sawed up lumber. Oh yes, I am videoing.
So horses were instrumental in getting the logs out of the forest and to wherever they needed to go, to the river or what. But and this one shows oxen.
This shows how the big wheels were being used.
What amazes me is these aren't big draft horses.
Look how tall that is. Those guys are all standing outside those logs, and that log is on yep, there's horses right in front of it. It's on a sled. Now, I'm sure these two horses didn't pull that, but that's how they took the picture. Oh, look at this. It's a locomotive that's not on tracks. Isn't that cool? There's another one. I say locomotive, it's a steam engine. So the guy sitting on front there is steering it. Very neat. So this is the blacksmith's forge right here. They had to be shoeing the horses all the time and making equipment, fixing saws, maybe even making saws. There's a blacksmith now. So here's some of the equipment they used. So they had to make and repair all this stuff. So the blacksmith was the skilled tradesman of the day. So these are log marks. So out in the woods, when they got the lumber, they put a mark on them. And then they sorted them when they got to the log yards at the sawmills. So each different company had their own marks.
Like this.
There's what some of the marks look like. And here we have the tools they use for, some of the tools they use for felling the trees, the axes. You got a hewing axe, grab skipper, broad, adze, double bit, single bit felling, ice, coopers. And here's a bunch of the handles. Over here is shows the heads. Interesting. You got a Yankee in Michigan, Ohio, Western New Jersey, Kentucky, Georgia, Turpentine, Canada broad, Pennsylvania broad. Interesting. Who would have known all this stuff? Well, here's how they fit the axe head. I better look at that real good. I might need to do that sometime.